I enjoy making these videos. I think it's just like it's so nice to have a format where you can just share openly. It's a form of self-expression. You know, it's nice to express with other people, and it's nice to express alone through art or music, and this feels like a way of, it's like both a self-expression alone, and also something that kind of can be shared with others too. And I feel a lot of like the desire to reflect a lot about work, because it's been a theme for me lately. And you know, I do cold calling for real estate. It's like a fairly new thing. It's been doing it for about a year, and kind of reaching this point where it's just no longer feeling good for me. And thankfully I have a boss, a partner in it that is very does a lot of his own self-work, and very willing to show up and have open, honest conversations. And you know, I see this pattern in me that when something when something doesn't feel good for me, I immediately turn it into like a self-work thing. I'm like, I am meeting a part of myself. Like, I should do this more. Why don't I like this? If I was awakened, I would like this. And it's such a seductive form of thought, because it appears to me like really rooted in control, where if something doesn't feel good for me, if that is just what is, then that's just what is. There's no need to try to figure out how to make it better. There's just an ease to it. There's an acceptance of it, you know? Like, sometimes the truth of that situation is to leave that situation. Sometimes the truth of that situation is like, yeah, not everything is the way that I want it, and not everything is perfect, and okay, you know? And even that, you know, the mind can turn that into like, well, there's a right way to do that and a wrong way. But no, it just shows up different ways. Like, sometimes it feels worth it. Like, worth it is almost like the word that comes to mind for me. It's like, it feels worth it. Like, the thought of stopping it is just not even really there. It's like not a consideration. It's like, yeah, you know. And then other times it really is. But if it doesn't feel good, and it's accepted, if the only way to not accept it is to make it about them, or make it about you, right? To demand change. And at the foundation of that demand for change is that something's wrong, right? Like, it should not be the way that it is, and it could be the way that I want it to be if ... right? Like, so I think, you know, it does, you know, it manifests in both ways, obviously, you know, like that external judgment or that external demand of another person, which often, you know, there's an implication of like, you're doing it wrong, and if you did it this way, it would be right. And I personally much more fall on the internalized. So like, it's like I do it to myself, and I think I learned that honestly through a lot of like the self-work and spiritual kind of messages, where it's like, don't externalize it, right? Like, internalize it. But what you're really doing, and there is like truth to it, in the sense that it's not them, you know, it's not them out there, but it's just as much not you in here. Like, it's not like there's a person in here that's controlling it, that can make the thing that doesn't feel good feel good. And to buy into that belief requires a future, where if I do this and this and this and this, then this could and will feel good, right? Like, I mean, I'm just, and the implication of that further is like, I'm not good enough right now, because like, oh my God, if I was more enlightened, more this, more that, then this would feel good. And like, I want to say it's such bullshit. And because like, how do you know that? Like, how do you know? Like, the most obvious thing right here is this doesn't feel good right now. And there might, like, I allow for that. There's probably, you know, there's a mental interpretation like being made that says this is good and this is bad. And maybe if that mental interpretation wasn't happening, but even that, it's like, okay, but it's like, why? Like, it's there, so like, why does it need to be something else? Like, why does it even need to be turned into like a, yeah, but if, again, like, it's like, if I was more enlightened, if I didn't have this mental perception, this would be different. But like, would it? Maybe it's just like a real fundamental noticing. Like, how the hell do we know, like, what even is enlightenment? Enlightenment is here now, and this is the way it's showing up. So why do we need to doubt it? And, you know, I've been and so like, just in my own experience, like, noticing this like work is just not feeling right, and being able to like approach things with communication and curiosity, rather than like, oh, it doesn't feel right, so that must mean ... And it seems too, like, when I stop shaming myself for it not feeling right, or like trying to imagine a future or a better Noam where it feels better, I take it as like a message. You know, it's like, okay, something here just doesn't feel right, and I might be able to put my finger right on it, and I might not. And, you know, if it's something that has to do with another person, then like, then it's a conversation to be had. And if that person is, you know, unwilling to have that conversation with me or with you or with whomever, then like, there's not anything to talk about, because that bad feeling is not going to go away. It's going to get more. And I've just found, like, I was able to just come and be so open and honest about, like, this is the way it is for me, you know, like, this is just what's showing up for me. It doesn't feel good. It's not just it doesn't feel good, like, I don't really want to play this game anymore. It doesn't feel like that. And noticing too, like, in part, I don't want to play this game because the way that this game is played doesn't feel true for me. That we like place all of these expectations, like goals, you know, these goals on ourselves. Like, you need to be hitting 50 calls a day. And I'm like, why? Like, it just doesn't do it. Like, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't work for me. And like, at the max, I could say to you, like, fine, and then just not do it. But like, that doesn't feel true for me either, because I don't want to say yes to something that's not a yes for me. And I don't want to be in an environment where I have to say yes to something that's not a yes for me. And, you know, and it's like, the more that I just sit into, like, the truth of this is, like, I'm not like arguing about right and wrong here. Like, yeah, like, you, to my boss, like, you're probably right. Like, if I set myself to do 50 calls a day, like, I would probably be more successful. Maybe. But I'm willing to like acknowledge that that's very possible. But like, I just don't care. Like, I just don't, like, the reward is to be able to engage with this in a way that feels honest and true and real for me, and to deny what is honest and real for the sake of some like external achievement. I can't find a reason to do it. To prove myself, to do something continuously hard and hard and hard that doesn't feel good and doesn't feel good, to prove that I can do something that doesn't feel good. Like, when will I have proved it? How long? Like, until, to the point that I'm like broken? And I've done that, you know. It's like, I will break myself. I will break myself so you see that I'm enough, you know. I was willing to break myself for this. Look at me, I am destroyed, and I did it for you. I did it because I care about this job. And like, it's just like, no one asked you to do that. And maybe they did ask you to do that, you know. But like, you know what happens when that's there? You're just broken. You're just broken. And the honest truth is, it's like, and I'm no use to anyone. I'm no fun to be around. Like, and the people who asked you to break themselves for you aren't gonna stick around when you break, because no one wants to be with a broken person. Is the unfortunate reality of it, you know. It's not that we don't want to be with a broken person. It's just that it's an endless, they see it's an endless black hole. We see it, you know. We feel it in ourselves. Like, we can have compassion for it. And it's like, because I guess I stutter here because I feel, you know, those times that I've been in that place, like, there's so much shame around it, like, because it's so tied up into social. Like, the reason that I'm breaking myself is because, like, I'm afraid of being abandoned, or I'm afraid I'm not enough. And like, not enough where? Like, not enough in the eyes of those around me. And then to hear like, oh my God, I'm doing the very thing that's going to like manifest the reality that I don't want. Like, this is just so much further proof that I'm broken. And like, none of it's true. There's no like, no one is broken. And like, this is not about like fixing ourselves to be worthy of love. It's recognizing that we're fucking worthy of love now. Hi, Uncle. That we are free now. That we can trust ourselves now. That the body is trustworthy. That what feels good and what feels not good is trustworthy. And like, damn, I mean, I think it's, I don't know, like, what, I want to say it's a rather Christian concept, you know, the original sin, like, to view the Bible in that format, that like a human being comes out born like broken, and only through God and Uncle, come on, what do you want from me, man? I don't have a ball. Only through God can we repair ourselves. And that, but then it's like, how do we know when you're repaired? Like, and the truth is, like, you won't, right? Like, until, I guess, until Jesus comes, or like, then you'll be healed. Like, then you'll, but until then, you're never enough. And because if you were enough, then like, who knows what you would do, you know? Like, it brings me back to that that line by God, I don't like to quote a line and not be able to say who it was, but where she says, like, she's the woman who ran for president, to be she was a candidate for presidency, and she says, it's not our darkness that we fear, it's our light. It's our own power that we're afraid of. And you know, it's like, what if what if you are trustworthy? Like, what if every sign is trustworthy? What if what feels good is you're able to listen to and move towards, and what feels bad you're able to move away from? And that's hard. That's hard in a society where, like, we don't want that, you know. We don't want people to have that level of freedom, because they might leave us, because they might not want to be with us, you know. And it's like this, so we might leave them. We might not want to be with them. We might not want to participate. We might not want to do that. We might not want to do the things that we think we have to do to live the life that we think we want to live. But goddamn, is it fucking horrendous to live any other way. And what is this life that we're imagining that we're going to live, that we're going to get by believing ourselves to be broken? Maybe the life that we actually want is the life where we realize that we're not broken, and we listen to ourselves, and we live in tune with ourselves, and we speak from our heart, and we feel, and we're honest, and we're authentic, and we don't modify this and shame this just because things out there change and they end. We don't modify and change our truth because someone else wants us to. We're open. We don't make our truth into some doctrine that then, when it's no longer true for us, we hold on to. When truth changes, it changes. But, you know, and that bad feeling when someone's trying to get you to change your truth, and like it's like we're getting filled with doubt, like, or I'm getting filled with doubt. I mean, it's not wrong for that person to be doing that. And obviously it's you know, it's just triggering my own doubt and the fear that I have over listening so deeply to myself and the consequences that there might be. But it also doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. This body does not want to be around people that don't respect its boundaries, that don't come with like respect and understanding of like, here is another human being who is wise and knows what's good for them and what's not good for them. And maybe what's good for them does not work for me. And I'm willing to make that decision. But, you know, like, and there is, I don't know if there's shame anymore here, because, but there's been a lot of forgiveness that's been needed for me, for the change that I demanded from people, because the way they were was inconvenient for me. It didn't give me what I needed, and that's hard, you know. It is hard to be in a relationship where you're not getting what you needed from that person. But God, is there someone out there who, you know, and I say this on belief, because like, I don't know, I have not met that person yet who feels worth it, you know, who it's not that they meet every need of mine, but that it feels worth it. But I can't compromise this to be with someone who that doesn't feel that way with. And you know, the mind will just like, God, it like picks apart. It's like, well, but if I was better, but maybe this, and if they were different and I was different, then it would feel better and feel better and feel better. And that just like, it's like, it just becomes so miserable. It hits, for me, it just becomes so miserable. I just hit a place where I'm like, okay, I don't care anymore, you know. If this ends it, if I don't live the life that I thought I would live, so be it. But I cannot continue to ignore my truth, you know, like to shame and doubt and imagine a future where Noam is better, where Noam is different. You know, and it creates like, I think what this kind of thing does is it's like, it's easy for the mind to be like, oh, so this is the goal, you know, I will be honest and authentic, and then I will have what I want. And I don't think that it really works that way. I think that it's really like a part of coming into alignment with oneself and trust with oneself, which allows there to just be more equanimity and more quiet and more calm. And ultimately, like, that is what gives rise to peace. And it's peace that we want. And sometimes the truth is we're not going to explain ourselves. We're not just going to open up. Like, there's no have to here. But it does, I guess for me, it feels like there's a lot more peace in experience when the simple truth and the way the body feels can be trusted. It's much more obvious than the thoughts which play both sides, which ping pong back and forth, which say this, which say that. No, like, the simple truth of what's felt here now is just so much more of a clear guide. And it's so intuitive, because it does seem to be making this experience lighter and better and healthier and happier. It's not the goal of it. The goal, there is no goal. That's the thing. It's the minute that truth is co-opted as a goal, it no longer becomes true. The truth is just the truth. Once it becomes a goal, it's not the truth anymore. Unless the truth is that, it's like, the truth is that I'm doing this for a goal. And how does that feel? It's fun to share. And there is, there is fear here. Because there are seeming consequences on the outside for not doing the game that everyone wants you to do. Akko, come on. Akko. But I don't have anything you want, man. You scare me, Akko. But, I don't know that there's any consequence that would make me... There's no consequence that makes the truth not the truth. Is that not, like, in our ideal what a martyr is? And of course, like, I'm not advocating for dying and killing for some universal cause. But if someone put a gun to your head and said, I want you to want this, what are you going to do? All you can do is lie. And if they said you have to live the rest of your life as though you want this, this has to be your truth. You have to believe what I want you to believe. You have to want what I want you to want. You have to be what I want you to be. I hope I'd have the courage to say, pull the trigger. And it's, I think, it's the belief in that just makes us kill ourselves. I know times in my life where I've never been, I wouldn't say I've ever been suicidal, but I've certainly been in places where I'm like, I don't want to live anymore. And the thought comes, like, before I kill myself, like, I'm just gonna let go of it all. And, like, this is what I let go of. The need to be anything other than the way that I am. The need to please people. The need to make them what I want. That's the scariest part, isn't it? It's, when I'm afraid of myself at times when I do get afraid, and I get scared and I try to control things, and, that's the ego, like, uses anger and just that seat of consciousness to be like, I accept that this is the way that it is. And that may even mean I accept that I don't like the way that this is right now. And okay, that's feedback for me. I'm not required to be constantly in a position or place that doesn't feel right for me. No one's forcing me. I don't have to. And right now, that's what's happening. So I will deal with this with grace and with honesty. And if decisions need to be made to take me out of a place that doesn't feel right for me, those decisions will be made. Feels like that's what self-trust is, and like ultimately it's what trust in God is, because and the mind comes in and is like, yeah, but what about growth? How are you gonna grow? What's the fucking goal of all of this growth? What is the goal of so much pain and struggle and suffering for the sake and the name of growth? So that one day you won't struggle? Life manages to trigger you. It's like, if we're living life avoiding all of our triggers, then that's going to be suffering. I mean, that looks like anxiety and worry, right? But if we're living our life throwing ourselves into the hot water that's too hot for us and boiling us, and we're doing it day after day after day because we think, that's just self-harm. You know, and I think about like anxiety in a relationship. If you constantly feel anxious in a relationship, it's probably not the right relationship. And also recognizing, like, you know, insight starts to provide also like the capacity for more, because like I start seeing, wow, you know, so much of the anxiety of being in a relationship is like being afraid of vulnerability. So it's like, okay, so I'm going to be vulnerable here. And if that vulnerability is not met and respected, get the fuck out of that relationship. Because like the body seeks safety, and it's okay for it to seek that safety. Just let it do it with wisdom, you know? Let it not hide. You know, let it come and say, listen, I'm feeling scared, and I'm feeling like maybe my vulnerability here won't be respected. And then when that person is able to meet that with understanding and respect, wow, does it feel safe, and is there gratitude and love in that relationship? And when they can't, then that's a freaking sign that like the mind's worry was accurate there, you know? And like that's the thing, I guess, is like the body knows, you know, the body knows when a situation is not safe. The body knows when it's being disrespected. The body knows when it's being judged. But sometimes the mind tells the body, you're being judged here, and the body reacts. And I think like wisdom is in being, not in shaming that, because yeah, you know, if someone's judging me, like it's not going to feel good for me. But let me make sure that's actually what's happening. Like, let me make sure that that person actually is judging me. Let me make sure that that person actually is disrespecting me, because I might just be misinterpreting it. And then it's like, hey, like, did you mean that as judgmental, or are you, you know, is that what you meant? Did you mean that to be mean? Did you mean that to be rude? And like, and then that person has a chance to say, oh my God, no, you misunderstood me, or like, fuck you. And if the answer is fuck you, then it's like, yep, okay, you know what, buddy, that just does not feel good in me. Like, I think that we're not going to be engaging in this situation much more. But if it's like, no, oh my God, you misunderstood me, then like, and they're genuine and you can feel their heart in that, then suddenly the body doesn't feel disrespected anymore. And like, I'm also, you know, there's like curiosity to like what even is disrespect and who is the person being disrespected here. But like in so many ways, like that kind of inquiry just feels less important, because the suffering here eases so much when there's the capacity to trust myself, and it allows for much more ease and quiet, which then allows for more insight into like what's actually happening. And I have no idea whether there is ever a day when, if this body was really being disrespected, it would feel good, you know? I don't know. I think if the truth of the situation is that it's being disrespected, I imagine that I would probably always feel not good about it. And wisdom is just in starting to stitch, to weave out the what is imagined and what's real, you know, to be able to see reality for what it is, which is like sometimes people do intend disrespect, and it's not going to feel good, and sometimes people do want to hurt you and it's not going to feel good. But for the majority, people don't really mean that at all. They're just distracted, they're just caught up in their own stuff. And it doesn't mean we have to be endlessly forgiving either, because it might not meet our need, you know? If a person is always kind of dismissing us, even if they don't mean to, like, it's not, this body's not going to feel good in that situation. It's always funny to kind of engage with the my mind from this place in the body, like, you know, from a place of self-respect, like kind of looking in these loops that I used to play in, and I'd still do at times. And the humility in this trust, you know. It's not like I know I'm right. Like, what does even right mean? It doesn't mean it needs to be right for you. It doesn't mean it's the right way. Like, the message here is listen to yourself, you know? It's your path, it's your life. And like it's like the most flexible message, because you're the only one that knows if it's true, if it's working for you. There's no one else. And so there's no other comparison. There's no way to compare, because it's so yours. It looks uniquely yours. And the uniqueness expression of you is, I want to say, what you were brought here to do. Like, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's an intention behind any of this, but it's certainly the only thing that you can truly do that's you. The only truly authentic thing that you can do. It's the art of your life. And it's gritty sometimes. It's sad sometimes. And it ends things that you don't want to end sometimes. But it's true. I'm gonna go eat some food. Thanks for listening. I love reading comments, you know. If people leave them, I love hearing where this touches you and what you're thinking about.